When Isaac heard the order, he immediately blurted out without hesitation, "Okay, Mr. Wade, I will arrange a plane to take the two of them to Sierra Leone. At that time, a special person will be arranged to guard them 24 hours a day 7 days a week, and they will never have a chance to escape." Charlie nodded in satisfaction, pointed to Hashimoto next to him, and said, "By the way, send this Japanese friend over." When Hashimoto heard this first, he was so scared that he wept bitterly. He sobbed and pleaded, "Mr. Wade, this matter is completely done by the father and son. The two of them are the masterminds. I am just a vessel. Please, you can't send me to Sierra Leone for anything, please let me go." Charlie sneered. "Hashimoto, you are not the mastermind, but that does not make you lesser of an offender. The nature of your crime is equally grave." After that, Charlie told Isaac again, "Mr. Isaac, make sure he reaches Sierra Leone with the son and father. I don't want a lesser of a treatment for him. Treat him equally as them. There must be no discrimination, do you understand?" Isaac nodded without hesitation and said, "Mr. Wade, don't worry, I'll make the proper arrangements." Charlie turned his head to look at Jim Song, the old man, and asked, "Master, are you satisfied with what I do with me?" Father Song has spent his entire life in the mall with proper defense and decisive actions. When he learned that Tianming and Honor were going to attack him, he secretly prepared his mind that once the matter is turned around, Hugh would never relent. But as he sees everything unfolding before him, he realized that he still couldn't be completely indifferent. After all, they are his own sons and grandsons. If they really kill them, it would be a family tragedy. Just like killing the young by the old feeble man. As the saying goes, a poisoned tiger does not eat children. Although there have been sons killing their fathers over the years, few fathers killed their sons. The same is true for Mr. Song. Although life is boundless, but after all, it is hard to escape the words of an avarice. Who is an avarice? The avarice is the one who has endless passions and desires. At the critical moment, the unceasing affection of the flesh and blood is the trouble of Mr. Song. It was precisely because of this that he could only hand over these two people to Charlie. Now, Charlie decided to send them to Sierra Leone. Although the conditions were extremely difficult, in the final analysis, they still had their lives left. This also let old Song breathe a sigh of relief. So, he hurriedly said to Charlie respectfully, "Mr. Wade, no matter what decision you make, I don't have any comments." Charlie nodded, then asked Warnya, "Do you have any comments?" "If you have any comments, just express them." Warnya also hurriedly said, "Mr. Wade, I have no objection. Everything is up to you." Charlie said, "Since everyone has no objections, then follow this, Mr. Isaac, let your people take the three of them to Africa. I don't want these eyesores here." Isaac immediately ordered several people in black. "Take the three of them under strict supervision. No mistakes are allowed, do you understand?" Everyone hurriedly said, "We understand." After that, he escorted these three people out. Tianming and Honor have been crying and begging for mercy. Tianming turned to look at Mr. Song and cried out, "Dad, please, for the sake of our father and son, help me. I beg you, Mr. Wade, please spare me. Otherwise I might die in Sierra Leone, Dad. Please do something." Old Song felt a pain in his heart. Charlie said, "Let them stay in Sierra Leone for 20 years. Tianming has crossed the age of 50 this year. When he goes to the extremely underdeveloped and poor area of Sierra Leone, he might not be able to survive for 20 years. It is very likely that he would die in Sierra Leone before the 20-year deadline. So now this may be the last time the father and son look at each other in their lives." Honor Song's legs were limp at this time, and he was dragged out by others. He pleaded bitterly, "Grandpa, I am only in my 20s. I don't want the best time of my life to be imprisoned in Sierra Leone. Please help me, Grandpa." Father Song's expression was struggling and tangled. Charlie sternly shouted at this time, "Shut all their mouths up for me." Several people in black immediately gagged their mouths with something to make them speechless, and the scene immediately became much quieter. Then, all three were dragged out. Seeing this, Mr. Song sighed deeply, knowing that there was no possibility of maneuvering, as if he was more than 10 years old at once. Charlie had a panoramic view of his performance, shook his head lightly, and said loudly, "Master Song, you understand the process of raising tigers better than I do. You must not only consider yourself, but also Warnya. If these two troubling people are not eliminated, someday in the future after you leave, the two of them will become greatest threat to Warnya's." After that, Charlie smiled slightly and continued, "As long as I, Charlie, will not let the two of them really threaten Warnya. That is to say, if the two of them remain at large, they will attack Warnya again in the future. At the time, I would not let them go. So, speaking of it, imprisoning them in Sierra Leone is not to protect Warnya, but to keep them alive, otherwise they will be reduced to ashes if they fly into the fire." Mr. Song was completely taken aback, and immediately looked at Warnya, and hurriedly said to Charlie, "Mr. Wade, you are right. Let them live and die in Sierra Leone." After all, Mr. Song looked at Warnya again and said, "Warnya, since you have returned now, the position of chairman of the Song group is naturally yours. From now on, you will continue to preside over the affairs of the Song group." Warnya nodded respectfully. "Okay, Grandpa." Warnya got it. Grandpa Song instructed, "Warnya, Grandpa does not ask you to take the Song family group into a fierce fight. As long as you can stabilize the status quo and prevent the Song family group from going downhill, Grandpa will be very satisfied. So if you don't want to, I'm going to talk about retracting transnational cooperation. I would rather Song group not open up any overseas markets or cooperate with any overseas companies, and I don't want you to fall into a dangerous situation again. Understand?" Warnya nodded lightly and said, "Don't worry, Grandpa, I will definitely pay more attention to personal safety in the future. In addition, I think we can continue to cooperate with overseas companies. Avoidance is not the best option here." After speaking, she paused slightly and said, "This time, Mr. Wade helped me talk about the cooperation with Nippon Steel. The chairman of Nippon Steel, Watanabe Shinkazu, has signed a cooperation agreement with me in Japan. Under the agreement, the two parties will establish a joint venture to build a factory and invest in a 50-50 ratio, but Nippon Steel is willing to give 60% of the shares to our Song group." What? As soon as these words came out, everyone on the scene was dumbfounded and speechless. Nippon Steel has always been very strong in foreign cooperation. They are even reluctant to give up 51% of the controlling stake. Even if the Song group gives 60% of the income to Nippon Steel would still be unwilling. Give up controlling rights is not how they operate. Therefore, in the eyes of everyone on the scene, Nippon Steel is the most difficult bone to chew. However, Warnya said that Nippon Steel is now not only willing to give up the controlling rights, but also willing to give up 10% of the shares to the Song group. This is simply a dream.